Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes Show. Today, me and Frank are joined by Isaiah Morrison for a very special interview. Isaiah, how you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing? How you both guys doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty
Um,
good.
so, for those that don't know you very well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh man, that was one of the hardest questions I would have asked.
That's the first one, man. That's supposed to be the easy one.
I mean, but I'm a local kid. Football player. Obviously, I've been to a couple schools out on college and everything like that. Been to a couple high schools, but like that too. But man, that's just the hardest question because you never know what to say, But I don't know. I'm a good kid, a good character-wise kid. I love doing things outside. I love doing things inside. I'm a big city kid too as well. I love football. I don't really like any other sport. If it's not football, it's nothing. I don't watch basketball much since the Celtics won the championship, so that was a long time ago.
It's just been a while, man. It's been a few years.
Not a big soccer dude or any other sport, so just waiting for football season so much. That's pretty much it. I'll come from the top of my head,
All right, I'll make it a little easier for you. How long have you been playing football? What got you into football initially?
So I've been playing football since I was 6. I think my older brother was playing it first, and I was pretty scared of football because I didn't like all the contact and the hitting and being like underneath the pile of things. I'm like, nah, I'm not playing it by any means. And my dad forcibly made me play it at the age of 6, and I was pretty hurt, but I was scared, but it turned out good, obviously. I think my first year, and it was going like 5, 6 touchdowns. I was like, you know what? Maybe football's for me, maybe. I was blessed with that like athletic ability, and I was just like, you know what? I might just take this journey, and I didn't play no other sports at all. So it was really just my brother and my dad that got me into football.
So what position did you play growing up in Pee Wee ball, and what NFL player do you think you looked up to the most and tried to resemble your game after?
Play a lot of everything except lineman. I think I played every position but lineman. But my main position was probably running back. And I used to look up to LeSean McCoy. When he was in his Eagles days, favorite player all time. But yeah, I used to highlight videos before games or before like a scrimmage or like a jamboree type of things we used to do. I used to try to make those certain moves. I mean, I don't think my moves was that quite well compared to his, but at the same time, that was just one of the guys I just always looked up to.
So when did you first start playing defensive back, and who got you into playing that position?
I started maybe sophomore year of high school because I was playing receiver, and my dad was like, you're a smaller guy. My hands was kind of suspect. So he was like, why don't you just start playing corner or safety? And I'm like, nah, I kind of don't know what to do by any means. And then they threw me in a game at corner in 707 my sophomore year. And it was a rough day for me.
Rough first game.
It was pretty bad. But then as I kept growing, kept progressing, I kept trying to do things in the off season, like try to better myself. I just became a lot better and better at it. And then I just stuck with it.
So you mentioned high school when you first played. In high school, you're an all-conference player. What did that mean to you, and what kind of honor was that?
I mean, honestly, it was a great honor to have, but I was kind of down because I won All-State. That was probably my main goal going into high school, no matter what year it was. I always wanted an All-State award, but I was a little shy from that. But at the same time, I mean, it was still a good award to have, I'm blessed to have, a lot of people didn't get it, But I was really aiming for that All-State award so bad.
So I'm going to give you a chance to throw out some compliments to your hometown or any schools you played against. Who's the hardest player you've ever had to cover?
Oh, hardest player I ever had to cover. And it had to be in high school-wise.
High school, college, Pee Wee, doesn't matter.
Hardest. I would say one time I went to the Nike opening, and I had to guard Rondale Moore, like twice, 3 times.
Yeah, that's a good one.
pretty shaky for me. And I was, I think, my junior year of high school. And I had a really bad, rough day with that one. But, you live and learn, you grow, I did not know who it was by any means. I'm thinking I'm just lining up against a regular receiver, and boom, off. And I'm just like,
in the dust.
What am I doing?
That's a little
and But yeah, I think that's probably the hardest person I ever had to guard.
So coming out of high school, you had a lot of college offers, including Toledo and North Dakota State, to name a few. What made you initially choose Western Illinois?
Really, it was just close to home. Probably one of the main factors that went into it. And then the whole recruiting process was kind of shaky for me. There was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of schools here, a lot of schools there, and then a lot of schools ended up dropping, a lot of schools didn't. And Western kind of just obviously stayed in contact. And really, I just wanted my family to see me play. And I knew a decent amount of people there, so I knew I was going to go there and be comfortable. So that was another thing that went into it. And I loved the coach Melvin. He was my recruiter. He's a great guy. He was a linebackers coach for us. And we just had that connection. I kind of really didn't want to lose that, and I didn't have any connection with nobody else at other schools or anything like that. But, yeah, maybe I think the biggest process was it was just close to home. I wanted to stay home and be by my parents because I was young. I wasn't the typical 19-year-old going into college. I was 17, just turning 17. So I was, still a kid, still a baby, and I kind of wanted my parents to be around me closer just in case something happened or something like that. But obviously now it's a little different, but before it was just probably
So obviously now you don't go there anymore. Now you go to Northern Michigan. What made you want to switch, and what made you choose? Yep, representing right there. What made you want to switch, and why was Northern Michigan the right answer for you?
Really, it was kind of wanted to play in the slot at corner, and I know at Western we had a lot of depth, and that just probably wasn't really happening for me. So then when I entered the portal, a lot of schools tell me, "Oh yeah, you can do this, you can do this, you can play that." And here at Northern, they was like, "Yeah, we can rotate you with like all the defensive back positions." And that's kind of what I really wanted to do. And when I came here, they were just comfortable with me, and I was actually pretty comfortable with them because they weren't lying to me, and I could tell because I've been through the process already. And they stayed true to everything they were saying. And the environment around here is really good. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a dome, so you can never go wrong with that,
Yeah.
And the other corner here, his name is Tavion McCarthy. He kind of persuaded me to come here because he was just a hardworking dude. And I knew I was like, I could be on the side of somebody else with the same mentality as me and the same work ethic as me. Like maybe it can go somewhere. So what the biggest decision was what I can do on the field and where they can place me at, and just the overall environment of the school kind of really just brought me towards Northern.
What were some of the other schools that were interested in you before you chose Northern Michigan?
I have a big list in my phone, but I had offers from Grand Valley, I had Finlay, Northwest Missouri, West Florida, Lafayette. I had a decent amount. Just to go off the top of my head.
So what changed for you the most this season, and obviously the off season for you, with all this COVID-19 protocols, and how much of it has your daily routine changed?
Actually, hasn't changed too much, but at the same time, practices are shorter and lifts are shorter, and we can't have too many people in the same space or in the same room. So we'll wake up in the morning, we have 6 a.m. practice. So that's pretty typical sometimes, but sometimes we'll have practice from 3 to 6, which is usually how it goes. But it was at 6 a.m. Then after that, and it was only for about an hour 30 minutes because we couldn't really practice for so long because we only had to field for a certain amount of time. And then after that, we ended up having lift. I had lift at 4 or sometimes 2. And it'd be a small group, and it's not really a bigger
team
group,
lift
which is
anymore.
what you want. Right. Not really a team lift anymore. And I want the environment. I want the yelling and the screaming. And you kind of really can't do that because you really couldn't spot. So he wasn't really maxing out. So he wasn't really doing any really big lifts because you couldn't have people around you. So that was one really big thing. And the lifts were 30 minutes, 35 minutes because we had to get the other group in, and we're going later at times. So that was kind of really confusing. And then practice, you can either practice one day and they shut it down the next day. Somebody has COVID or something like that. It's really annoying, but at the same time, at least we're blessed to do it right now because some teams probably aren't practicing, aren't doing anything. So
Someone's better than none, right?
Something's better than nothing, you know. It was definitely no spring game, which is pretty tough. So it's hard.
Yeah. So with those like close knit practice groups that you've had and the lift groups that you had, has that helped like the guys in the locker room like get closer to each other because you're not working out with like the entire team anymore. You're just working out with a set group of guys.
That's actually something that's beneficial from it because I was in sometimes I was in a 4 o'clock group, which is pretty mostly like linemen and everything like that. And obviously I'm not a lineman. So I got to know more of my teammates, people I wouldn't say wouldn't hang out with much, but just wouldn't see on a daily basis because I'm always with the corners or the receiver. So I really got close with some linemen, some DNs, which I thought I would never do, And I was a new transfer too, so that actually helped out in many ways that I thought it wouldn't. But yeah, it definitely brings people closer. And every lift group is kind of different. Like you might get some receivers working out with some kickers, or something like that. At least they get the chance to bond with each other outside of playing in practice because kickers don't really see receivers much at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, outside of like football, they don't really hang out too much. Lifting groups actually really did help that out.
So what do you think would be your go-to lift artist or lift song? Or
everybody's got their own select playlist when they lift.
Lift song, Meet Me with Dreams and Nightmares.
That's a classic. That's a good one. Yeah, a lot of athletes like that one.
Playing football song that you could never go wrong with. It could be a pregame. It could be after the game, just to get your mind made up. But you can never go wrong with Dreams and Nightmares.
Yep. So, what are you looking forward to most this season with all of COVID and all your season getting canceled and all that stuff? So, what are you looking forward to most when you do get back to playing?
Really, it's just bring a winning atmosphere here because actually during COVID actually helped us in kind of a way with recruiting wise and guys entering the transfer portal and everything like that. So it can really kind of stacking our team like small piece by piece because the last couple of years they, I guess, haven't been pretty good at all. But this year it's starting to get more and more transfers, which is obviously a good thing. So I really just want to see the school turn around in the football wise way because that's what we really need. And then everybody's getting closer. The transfers are actually getting closer with each other because obviously we're all from different parts of town, which could be a bad thing, but obviously, having those small lift groups make it a good thing, Right. But what I'm really looking forward to is just us coming out there and winning more than 2 games or anything like that, making the playoffs, winning conference. Because I really think, like right now with the team we have and the team we're starting to build, it's really good, And I honestly think we have a really good chance against those Grand Valleys, those Ferris State guys, because obviously those guys are powerhouses here, and we've kind of been like the lower tier, but we're bringing in some guys from FBS, FCS that we really need, and some D2s too. We really need, and it's coming together good in my opinion.
So you lead me perfectly into the next question. What can we expect out of Northern Michigan come the fall? And what do you think the ceiling is for this team?
Oh, I thought you meant position-wise. I was going to say our defensive backfield is going to be great. We have
that could be part of it. It could be a defensive team.
Oh, I think our defense is going to be really nice. You add a couple more, defensive backs, a couple more defensive linemen from different schools, and really pretty good.
Hey, we'll remember that ball.
All right, and our Brent, he's from Illinois. Got a couple of receivers from FBS. So they're looking pretty good too. Every practice you always match up against each other. So that brings more competition and brings, so that helps out. But oh yeah, I'm just so excited. Man.
You're excited just thinking about it right now?
Yeah. And then right now we're not having practice right now because somebody on our team tested positive a little bit. But
okay. Yeah.
I don't know. So it's kind of been a slow week, so I've been trying to catch up on schoolwork and working and everything like that. But I just love to get out there and play some football with them.
Yeah,
because it's coming good.
So going from your team to you personally, what would you say is the biggest asset that you can bring to your team or any team that you're on a football field?
Really, leadership and work ethic, because coming from the school that I did come from, there's a lot of standards, there's a lot of expectations you need to meet. And coming down, not saying that there aren't, but it's kind of a little lower. So at the same time, I can make sure other corners on top of their stuff all the time. I can make sure safety is in the classroom on time, in the meetings on time, because that's how it used to be, and that's how the standard should be. And a lot of these guys never really had the structure coming out of high school, coming to a program. They didn't never really have that structure. And me coming in brings in structure for the younger guys, because a lot of these guys are younger than me. So for me, it's just probably just leadership and the work ethic, because they see me, they see what I do, and try to reciprocate that, which is a great thing. Exactly. So that's probably the one biggest thing I think I could bring to this team. And I feel like I've brought it to this team so far, but there's a lot of work to do with that.
So sometimes people think this is a hard question, but who would you think is your NFL comparison? Who do you model your game after the most? And
that was an easier question than the first question.
That's the easier one. Some people got trouble with that. They don't like, because they compare themselves to like the best players in the NFL, and they're like, I don't want to do that,
Any more from a coach? Just similar size. He could play outside. He could play safety. He could play slot. And he came from Division II as well. So I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to see who I'm just like body shape, like movement wise. And I've been watching Kenny Moore a lot, and he's been making plays. He's the highest paid slot corner in the league. And that's just one guy I really want to.
It's a good aspiration to have.
Exactly. I want to model myself as I don't want to say I want to, because I obviously want to be better, but
right.
I just feel like we're kind of in similar positions.
Yeah, absolutely. So who's your favorite NFL team, if you don't mind me asking?
Your NFL team, Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. So Eagles are coming up. Obviously, the NFL draft is coming up. Obviously, the Eagles kind of screwed themselves with a trade they made a few weeks ago.
He's not happy about it.
Listen, you're getting interviewed by a few Giants fans here. You're going to get killed a little bit when you say you're an Eagles fan. So,
what did you think of that trade, man? You think it was fair? Did you get enough for Carson, or did you get robbed? It's a sore spot. I just want to talk about it. It's too soon.
This question's harder than the first one.
I honestly think we should have got a little more.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because Carson was very obviously valuable, but I needed something more.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of Jalen Hurts? Is he the future, or do you think you're going to go a different direction?
Jalen Hurts is the future. I love Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I put my money and effort into Jalen Hurts. We just need to build around him,
Gotcha.
All right, so that leads me into my perfect question. Last question I got for you. If you want a weapon for Jalen Hurts, who do you get?
This is going to be a sneaky question, which you think I'm not going to say the best receiver in the draft. I want Kadarius Toney.
Wow.
It's a good answer.
Yep. I like
it's not what I think of, but it's a good answer.
I like Jalen Darden. But obviously Kyle Pitts is probably an iffy situation because he might go top 5. You never know. But I like Elijah Moore. We need guys like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Jamar Chase and everybody like that is really good. Devontae Smith, Trey Marshall, who's pretty good. I think his name Trey or Terrence, one or two. But I want Kadarius Toney.
He can be sneaky good.
Exactly. Get him like second round, third, in my opinion.
Could be a steal.
You can really.
All right. Well, Isaiah, thank you so much for hopping on with us. We really enjoyed the hell out of this. Northern Michigan football player, NFL scout. He's got a future already. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Good luck this season, man. We'll be watching out.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. All right. You guys have a good day.
All right. You too.
Man.